To see a website, you need a web browser and you need to be connected to the internet, which is a lot of computers, smartphones, tablets around the world that are connected through cables and radio signals, and that can send information to each other. So, when a user types an address in a browser, the computer will send a request to another computer on the internet that contains the website. This computer will reply sending some files, and then the browser will read these files and it will show the web to the user. If the user types a different address, the request will go to a different computer, which will send the files from that other website, and the user will see this other website. The computer that requests the files is called a client, and the computer that provides the files is called the server. And a server will constantly get requests from different devices on the internet, and it will send the website files. Now, these files can be of different types. Some will contain HTML code, which is a language used to describe the structure of the website. For example, the title, the buttons, the text, etc. Others will contain CSS code. CSS is a language used to describe how a website will look like, the color of the title, the position of the buttons, borders, etc. And others will contain JavaScript code, which is a language used to describe how the website works. For example, what happens if the user clicks the login button, or if they click the sign up button, or if they give a like to a post. Everything that will happen in these situations is defined in the JavaScript code. The server may also send images and videos that will be displayed on the website. All these files that are sent to a client are called the front end of a website. And there is another part called the backend, which lives on the server. Let's have a look at how the backend works. In the backend, we have a program called the web server, which receives user requests, takes the files from a folder, and it delivers these files to the client. This program can be Apache or Nginx, for example. So this type of website, which has a web server and the files in a folder, is called a static website, because the files that are sent will always be the same for any user that wants to see the website. So all our users will see the same content. But there are some cases where we don't want all our users to see the same content. Let's say we have a social media website where each user will have their profile with their images. In this case, we want to send different content to each user, so we will send them different files. In this case, we will have, in addition to the web server, a program that will create the files that we send. This program can be written in many different programming languages, like Java, C#, JavaScript, Python, PHP, and we will have a database where we can store information about our users. A database is like a warehouse that contains all kinds of information, like names, numbers, dates, etc. And the program will use the database when it receives a request from the user. If we have a social media website, the images of each user will be in the database. So when one of these users logs in, it sends a request to the server with the details about their profile. The web server will send a message to the program, which will search the database and get the images of the user. It will prepare all the other front-end files and it will send them to the web server, which will respond to the user, and the user will see their profile with their images. If a different user logs in, the program will search the images of this user, prepare all the files and send it to them, so that they can see their profile with their images. As you can see, different users will receive different files. This type of website is called a dynamic website. So we have seen the structure of a static website and a dynamic website. There are also other structures like REST APIs and single-page applications, that I will explain in detail in future videos. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.